So I don't know about you guys, but for me, it is fucking pollen central. I've kind of grown out of it. Like when I was younger, I had allergies to the point where, and also, get kind of a little bit of a tangent. If you got fucking allergies, do not constantly touch your nose and face and like constantly wipe your eyes. You're just gonna make it a million times worse. So as I've kind of gotten a little bit more self-control as I've matured, I can control myself when I've got itchy eyes. But no, what I was going to say was even though now it's not so bad, yeah, when I was a kid, oof, I had it pretty fucking rough. Like to the point where I would even put on, oh man, I like every time I'd come back inside, I'd have to get like a wet sponge and just kind of cool off my eyes. Like I'd be walking around like sketch, like just fucking a little too dark for you to see me in here. I'd just be making fucking eyes would be huge. But whatever. So what I'm trying to say there is that could potentially affect the pump, man. You know, if you're really on the rough end of it to the point where you're fucking constantly sneezing, just you can barely fucking breathe. Maybe stay inside a little bit. You know, maybe try to hang around in places with filtered air, at least until this at least until this allergen situation cools off. Because I mean, the last thing you want to, I mean, any seasoned lifter isn't going to skip the gym because they have the sniffles. But you don't want to set yourself up for failure in the get go. And you're probably not going to want to become crazy dependent on fucking allergy nasal sprays either. I've, uh, I've taken them before. I never noticed like a problem after not taking them, but it does kind of become like a dependence type of situation where you can't live without it. But I'm just talking about fucking whatever. So plan right now, or at least in about 20 minutes once I pull up to Metro, is to fucking bust out some chest. And uh, yeah, yeah, just chest. I was about to say, and I'll throw some shoulders in too. You got to train me. You guys have to train me a little bit better. No shoulder work, at least for a few more months, because I've said this before. I do get a lot of comments. Where are the shoulder workouts? Saying why don't you work out shoulders? And it's not for no reason. They're just too fucking big, man. And I don't mean they're too big in the grand scheme of like you know lifters. There's a fucking million characters with bigger shoulders than mine. But relative to my chest, my back, my arms, my shoulders are too fucking big. They're too like when my arms are pumped and my shoulders are unpumped, that's where I'm looking pretty kind of proportionate. So that's why when I start bulking up, I mean, I'm not going to hit shoulders at all, but I'm also going to chill out a little bit on back. When it comes to my torso, if you cut me in half at the waist and we're just looking at my top half, arms, I would say, uh, yeah, I'd probably say arms need the most work, chest needs the second most work. And when arms, I also mean specifically triceps. So that's kind of those are kind of the muscle groups I want to bias my growth of waist up wise in this next bulk. Now, legs, everybody just needs bigger fucking legs, so that's never I don't think that's ever going to change. Unless you have disproportionately large legs from the get-go, more than likely they're never just going to immediately take the lead on your whole build. But that's not a problem. That just means I got to keep squatting, leg extended, hack, sissy squatting and everything. Oh, don't even get me started on people that skip legs. But yeah, so I was about to say I might throw a little bit of shoulders in at the end, but I just don't need to. The only reason I do it is because I like having a shoulder pump, but I gotta hold back. Gotta hold back and grow every muscle in proportion with each other, like the Godfather of Gains tells us to in Pump and Iron. But heavy pressing, I do want to change it up from my last chest day because I started with an incline Smith machine, and for whatever reason, right now, I kind of don't want to do that today. I mean, I'll see what I feel like, and I'll also see what's available. If oh, this is a perfect. I haven't said this for a little while. If you get too locked into a really rigid workout routine, for one thing, I think that's not the best approach because it's not taking into account how you feel and how everything's kind of working for you on that specific day. Like sometimes I'll do incline Smith machine and I fucking love it. And then other times it's giving me like a weird feeling in my forearms and my elbow, like where my forearm ties into my elbow, and I'll get a little bit of a weird kind of it just kind of feels off. So I won't do incline Smith machine that day. I'll do something else. Maybe dumbbell, maybe fucking uh machine press, whatever. So not only do I think having a really rigid exercise selection and order is gonna result in just sort of maybe less natural feeling workouts, but it also kind of limits your fucking your ability to flow through the gym because let's say your workout plan, step one, exercise one, incline Smith machine. What happens when the Smith machine is taken? If you don't have the ability to adapt and overcome to somebody doing 5 sets of RDLs or glute bridges or whatever else, what are you going to do? Sit there and just wait 20 minutes? That's nuts. I don't think everybody does that, but there are some, I can almost guarantee it. We've all had, we've all been working on something, and then you get a little bit of a sixth sense when someone's kind of hovering, waiting for your machine. But, so in my mind, that's another positive to being a little bit more open to not inspiration's not the right word, but just seeing where the workout leads and following more of a basic approach in terms of its outline. Like I know I want to do some heavy pressing. I want to maybe do some lighter pressing and focus on squeezing. That could be maybe like some cable press, really focus on this bottom part where my chest is all the way flexed. Finish with some cable flies or some pec deck, right? Stuff like that. But if I was about to walk over to the incline chest press and then it was taken, like right as I'm kind of halfway to getting there, I'm not just going to sit down for 5 minutes, wait for the guy to finish, lose my pump, get out of the zone. It's just not fucking practical, man. You know, it's it's not too often that I hear that people are taking rest periods that are too long. But if you've got to wait more than 5 minutes between your sets, and it's not because you really do need to take your breath, like after I finish a set of squats, I mean the set of squats from like the last video, yeah, it was probably like 5 minutes at least before I did those next sets of leg extensions. I had to fucking catch my breath. But if you're really in the zone and it only takes you a minute and a half to kind of recuperate, get some blood back into whatever muscle you just hit, and you feel strong enough to hit another set, if you wait any longer than that, or at least too much longer than that, I think you're going to start to lose your momentum. Because think about it in extremes. If I only did one set every 15 minutes, I'm never going to get a full pump. Every set might pump me up a little more, but then it's just going to fucking disappear. So if you've got a machine where you were really kind of hoping to do it, but the guy's on it, he doesn't want to let you work in, or maybe it's a plate loaded machine and working in gets a little trickier because then you have to peel the plates and load the plates back on. I think you got to just pick a new movement. Right? Pick something else. With some workouts, it kind of sucks because you're a little bit more limited in terms of your exercise selection. Like for me, I know for a fact I can go into a completely packed gym and hit arms fucking perfectly. Even if everyone's taking everything, I know at the very least I can grab a set of dumbbells and do some curls. Or I could grab a set, or not even a set, just one dumbbell and do like single arm kickbacks. It's not too fucking tricky with something like that where you can really do all sorts of shit. But when it comes to something like legs, I've done it. I've had to sit for a few minutes waiting for a squat rack. But the more often that you can actually be working out while you're in the gym, the better. Now, once you finish your workout, then you can kind of chit chat a little more. I've been known to spend an hour, even 2 hours at the craziest, at my school gym, or got some dogs around who I like. Even once my workout's completely done, but while I'm actually in the workout itself, I'm not too talkative. Like I'll say some random shit as I go get a drink, but you gotta focus on when you're in the zone. You should really be in the zone, if you get what I'm saying there. But it's 5:40, 5:45 ish. Everybody's getting out of work. Everybody should be out of school. Um, I'm all done, but I think high school is still going on. So if I were to place a bet, I would say it's gonna be nice and packed, which not always a bad thing. I came into this same gym last week and I was a little bit underwhelmed, because I was kind of expecting it to be full of fucking meatheads really going hard, and then there's only like 5 dudes. So it's kind of a give and take. This will be the last thing I say before we get in there. But it's like somewhere in the middle with everything. There's a sweet spot. But if a gym's too packed, you're kind of just screwed. You're waiting for everything. It's just, you know. But if it's totally dead, then you kind of have no external energy to run off of, and get kind of hyped up by. Not that you need it. You know. I know I can have a good lift even if the gym's empty, but it is nice. If you can look over and see 20 dudes pushing themselves as hard as they can, even if you're not the most like hyped guy, it's human nature not to want to stick out. So if you've got the option of going to a gym with a fucking, let's say a high population of serious lunks, or go to the YMCA in a retirement community, which one do you think is going to be a little more hype? You know, and I guess that's up to you. Right? There's no rule that says you still can't go hard once you're 70 years plus. Not that I think there's a massive 70-year-old plus demographic watching this. But yeah, no more chatting. Let's get started. I don't think this will take too long. Honestly, I could see this workout being over in 30 minutes, 45 minutes. It's just one muscle group, and I'm dieting down, so I'm not doing it as crazy as or I never do a crazy amount of volume, but when I diet down, I do kind of reach a point of essentially being fully pumped and just done with the workout in less sets. But maybe I'll talk about that later. But let's get started. 4 plates was possible, but I'm trying to curb my ego lifting this. So let's cut it at 3.5. Okay. There was no chance in how I could get one more rep. Perfect opener. And 8 reps minimum. So this was an example of a perfectly guessed weight for a starter set, at least from how I like to lift. Because I don't want to go so heavy I have to do less than 8 reps. So hitting 8 just at failure, it's perfect. Come on. Yeah. 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 One more. Oh. I'll do a rest pause set. Okay. Wait a couple seconds. Do another 5. And then see where I go from there. Yeah. Oh my God. I think I overestimated my strength. That was a good set though. Let's let's move on. Let's change gears. Oh, I don't know what I was thinking. Incline Smith is sick. Usually, I feel like I do mainly all my heavy pressing first and then finish with flies. But sometimes I like flipping it around. So kind of going back and forth. So a few sets of heavy pressing. Now a few sets of still heavy, but more of a fly. It has yet to fail me to get a nasty pump at the end. So I got no problem throwing it in today. Yeah. 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 Oh, might have been a little too heavy. Let's do a slightly lighter one next. Good set though. Yeah. 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 Okay. Let's do some incline chest press. Yeah. 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 Oh my God. Okay. Let's actually do a different machine. Actually, no, 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 no. I was literally about to say some shit like, "Oh, I wish this machine was heavier, but I can add a plate." Yeah. Usually, a lot of plate-loaded machines, you can't actually add shit because it's usually this whole weight cage is like concealed in plastic. Okay, no, nice. I don't know why I haven't thought of this on this machine before. I gotta grab another one. You just caught a eureka moment. Good. I was I was taking a breath to literally get into a speech about like, oh, I wish this stack was a little bit heavier.
Oh, come on. You can take control of your own reality here. Let's make this shit work. So I guess I gotta see how it feels, but oh, there we go. Okay, perfect. I was about to say, all right, this stack is a little light. Let's do a light squeezing set. But an extra 50? Well, let me see how it feels actually doing it. Ah, okay. Still not the heaviest press in the world, but this helps. So I'm still going to really focus on squeezing. These are going to be slow, controlled reps. And then I'll probably finish with a set of bent over cable flies. We're near the end. All I've got to do now is get hyped up and go nuts. Yeah. 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 Okay. Oh, not bad. Let's do some flies. And I think chest is done. All right. A little funky of a chest movement to finish. I haven't done them for a while though, so I kind of want to do it just because I haven't done it. But basic logic: grab a set of dumbbells, heavy as you can muster, with reason. Don't hold them right at your sides. Kind of bend over a touch and hang them so that they're kind of, it's like you're trying to stab into your quads. And then just flexing your pecs, trying to use absolutely nothing else. Pull the weight over to the side. Now, I wouldn't call this a complete chest movement, like something like a bench or a fly or something else. You get a complete range of motion, a big stretch. This is more so of a fucking just contraction. But even chest presses, I find it hard to believe, or let's say I find it hard to find any machines where I can actually squeeze as hard as I can with these 40s. So I think one of these and that would be the end of it. All right. Yeah. 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 Oh. Yeah. 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 Okay. Okay. Well, let's post out. All right. After some nasty sets of chest press, some cable flies, pec deck action, I have reason to believe that I'm pumped. Now let's actually give it a grading scale on, you know, freaky to some kind of negative connotation word that rhymes with freaky. Oh. 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 That was a disgusting vacuum. A few more, and then let's roll. I don't think you're really supposed to be shirtless in here, but they give me a pass. Oh, okay. The stomach fat is thinning. Another 2 weeks. This little bit of softness should disappear. So let's
All right. If that's not a chest pump, then I don't know what is. That's actually a really fucking good one too. Extra well hydrated and rested. That will definitely help. I mean, I'm not joking. It is night and day. The comparison of how your lift goes and how pumped you are, just, on your own scale from good to bad for you. If everything in terms of your preparation is in order. If I have total crap sleep, odds are I'm probably not going to feel as good. Probably not going to go as hard. If I have total fucking crap hydration, I didn't drink enough, I didn't have my gallon of water with an electrolyte packet, then guess what? I'm going to fucking feel it. And even if I still feel okay strength wise, I'm definitely going to be fucking weaker. And then it's, again, like if I'm weaker and I go lighter on my sets just because I can't manage as much intensity in a way, what do you think, man? Worse pump. Two fucking words for you. Worse freaking pump. So make sure I'm assuming, even if you got a straight up job, everyone gets a little more free time in the summer. Don't just spend it all staying up late playing Elden Ring. And maybe get a little bit of extra sleep. It's it's not necessarily as fun. Like a lot of the shit that you can do to improve the quality of your lifts, which also is going to improve the quality of your life, but I'm kind of more concerned with the lifting aspect. It's not necessarily very exciting. You know, you can you're going to literally perform better when you take your multivitamins and you're fully, what's the word I'm even thinking of here? You're fully, well, you're just full of every little electrolyte and micronutrient that you need. You got your fish oil and your omega-3 intake in, and fucking, you're getting a good amount of sleep. You're getting hydrated. You're very well fed. You're eating even meals throughout the day. None of that is necessarily exciting to do, but if you slack off on it, you're going to notice. And my approach with pretty much all of that, in terms of food, sleep, getting ready for training, pre-workout, supplements, everything, is not one is an absolute insane game changer. Like you're not just going to take your creatine and then gain 50 pounds in 1 year, but making sure that you try to optimize everything that you can for your routine that you do, and just kind of push the lever on it. Actually make sure you hit your protein, stay well hydrated every day, get more than 3 hours of sleep per night, have a good daily routine so that you actually do have time to fucking work out at the same similar ish time every day. Be able to consistently push yourself and make long term steady gains. It is very routine. It is a lot of day in, day out approach. But that's kind of the nature of it. And you got to remember, your days are going to pass regardless. This whole week, this whole next week, whether you fucking slack off or if you really push it, the time is just going to pass. And I don't know if you do this, but every so often I feel like I kind of get a little bit of kind of a feeling of like depersonalization, where I almost like look at myself in the third person and I'm like, okay, I'm alive right now. It's 2024. I'm just whatever. And I feel like I have those thoughts maybe every couple of months, and I'm like, oh, Jesus Christ. Fucking one of my buddies just texted me his birthday's in 2 weeks. I feel like I just went to his fucking house on his birthday like a few months ago. It's almost been a complete year. So this time, you got so much of it, and it's just fucking rushing away. So it's up to you. I'm not in control of your life. If you start killing it, it's not going to suddenly improve my life. But if the time is going to pass anyway, I think it's worth it to at least try to do something fucking cool. It doesn't have to be working out, but I think everybody is going to benefit from some consistent weight training. Be it, be you a fucking 14-year-old high school guy or a 70-year-old retiree. Damn, the fucking road is just covered in somebody's front fender, wheels, and headlights. Somebody was probably walking into this intersection distracted because they were talking to their camera. Wouldn't know anything about that. But yeah, it's so I'm a little bit. What's the word I'm thinking of here? Uh, I kind of I try to make this disclaimer every so often, and it's a little bit strange to hear from me because, of course, I'm a fucking in the grand scheme of weightlifting, I'm like a total freak show. Like this is, I'm probably way too into it. I mean, I'm definitely way too into it compared to like normal people's standards. So that's for me, this feels like normal. So you got to take that with a grain of salt, of course, right? You don't necessarily, if this isn't going to be your shit all the time, then maybe you don't have to track absolutely every gram of carbs that you consume and every gram of fats and like whatever. But a lot of the times when I talk about, doing your cardio, pushing your sets hard, right, being consistent, tracking your macros, these things, these are the basic frameworks of a good routine, which is going to give you results. And I feel like if you're working out to get results. So as repetitive as it gets, I can't help but keep repeating like these, and you know it too. Everyone knows this. If somebody told you, and they weren't lying, somebody hooked them up to a polygraph, and let's say you haven't seen your buddy for 3 years, and you're just on a phone call with him, and he's telling you the total truth, and he said, "Yeah, man, these last 3 years, I've been going to the gym, every day. I take a rest day every so often. I've been really training hard. I've been watching a lot of workout videos. I've really been getting into it. I've been really looking at my diet, getting a lot of protein in, getting an actual solid amount of, amino acids. Haven't been eating too much trash, been doing my cardio. I've been on my shit for 3 years." Right? Now, let's say that guy is standing behind a fucking curtain or like a game show door. What do you think he's going to look like? Do you think he's going to look fucking totally out of shape? Or do you think he's going to be fucking yoked? You know, it's a guarantee, right? And it's purely effort based. It's not so much, dependent on your skill. Like that's kind of part of the reason I like the weightlifting is, it's not like a sport where it's kind of, you get the yips, you want to be a little lucky to really perform and have a really good day on competition or whatever. It's like the only thing stopping you from having a good workout and the only barrier to entry is your exertion. There's no question that I'm going to have a really good set of fucking chest press if I take a few seconds, really amp myself up, have a really good song playing, just fucking go nuts. It's like, in terms of any kind of endeavor, it's so simple because all you do is just go nuts, right? So I kind of, what I'm trying to sort of point out, if I had to kind of condense some of the advice that I talk about working out wise, is if you can get yourself into a state of near daily lifts, schedule in a rest day if you want one, or if you feel like you do need one, not anti-rest day. Start tracking your macros, get a little bit more in tune with your diet. Look up like how to eat for muscle growth. There's a million videos on YouTube. You can literally become a fucking, essentially a goddamn professional just by watching those and paying attention and picking and choosing the actual good, useful information. So there's nothing stopping you. There's no way that if you work out hard and consistently for a year, even 6 months, that you're not going to notice serious results. And I get a little, not a little, it kind of gets me going. It gets me upset, man, when I hear people just, well, for one thing, just perpetuate like random nonsense. I don't think the general public, the general population, is extremely knowledgeable about how food is going to affect your body. If someone unironically tells me, "Oh well, bread is going to make me fat," and then they have a salad with like 4 servings of ranch dressing instead, and that's their healthy alternative, like stuff like that. It's not like, not everybody totally gets it. But if that's your thing and you really want to get into this and you really want to actually make changes, which is the whole point, like eventually, at least for me, I'm going to get to a point where I'm like, okay, I'm big enough. As crazy as that sounds, there is going to be a point where I'm like, I've reached the size I want to maintain for a while, and then I'm just going to be working out to maintain my build, stay pretty lean. You get the idea. But that's not yet. I'm not at the end goal yet, and I'm not going to be there for quite some time. So I'm going to do everything in my fucking power to make sure that I'm on track to keep fucking grinding. And if that's you, if you've got that little itch in the back of your mind, if that dream still lingers, right, getting a little God hand reference in there for you, then I think you are in no way going to regret putting in more effort. Right? You're never going to regret. You're never going to feel bad like, oh man, I was going too hard. You know, I would rather be a total nut later down, or I'd rather reach a point of being a total nut freak show and be able to say, yeah, that was fucking wild, than think to myself like, oh, I wonder, what if, what if I push myself hard? What if I try to actually lock into my diet? What if I, put some more effort into this stuff? It doesn't have to be working out. That could be anything. But of course, if I'm talking about it, it's going to be the gym. And so that's kind of where I'm preaching towards, the nuts, the fucking lifter. You got some kind of switch in your brain where this is going to be some shit you want to go down the road of. So for that kind of character, I don't think putting in more effort is ever going to hurt you. But on the other hand, I also think everybody has a fucking body that you kind of have to fucking stimulate to maintain reasonable just function and general athleticism. I think the guy who at least breaks a sweat every day doesn't even have to be working out. I'm not. You don't even have to go to the gym and work out. I'd probably prefer you did a little, but people who really get around, they're just active. They're definitely enjoying themselves a little bit more than anyone who's living a little bit more of a sedentary lifestyle. So that's kind of what I'm talking about, right? I've got two sides. I've got two perspectives of advice I like talking about. If you're a total nut, go absolutely crazy. But I'm sure you have regular guy friends too. You should bring them to the gym with you and just fucking bring them in. It is never going to hurt your home gym to get more memberships. Because, I mean, even turning this into like a fucking, pyramid scheme for us regulars. More memberships, more money, more equipment. Right? It's just perfect. As far as I'm concerned, in this upcoming election, I want to hear which candidate is going to make America fucking yoked again. That's uh, that's the political discussion that I want to hear. So I always loop back around to Michelle Obama's 1 hour of play. That she was on the right track. So even if you don't want to become a total fucking nutcase, try to break a sweat every fucking day. You'll enjoy it. You know. So I think that's the end of my little rant. So cardio in the morning, some more food for me now. Probably just have a pound of ground beef with some low sugar barbecue sauce. Drink a ton of water. The hot water at my house went out, so I'm kind of forced to toughen up and take cold showers right now, which I would not usually do, you know. taking a cold shower after cardio in the morning, like a cold shower right in the morning, kind of far away from your actual training. I like, I don't mind that. But a cold shower right after your train, it's kind of going against what you should be doing for immediate, like hypertrophy style recovery. Because I don't know if you know this or not, but when you jump into fucking cold water, uh, a combination of the fact that it's just cold and also your little adrenaline spike, but it's gonna fucking constrict your blood vessels, reduce your blood flow, just kind of put you in a little bit of a fight or flight kind of situation. It's not good for muscle growth. So that's my little tip there. If you're a cold shower fan, take them in the morning. Take maybe not right after your weight training, but yeah, that's all I got. So I will see you tomorrow for back.